Well, I was like totally last second about that. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Episode number 92?
It's a lot.
We've done 92 of these?
I think so.
Holy crap.
There's been a few. Hey, I just showed up on screen.
Don't we? Yeah, well, yeah, there you are right there.
Hey,
Say hi to the MAZZ, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see everybody with my glasses on today.
I caught you with your readers on.
That's okay. I can't read without them. You got to have them.
And you're pretty well framed in your spot.
But what the hell do I know? I don't know anything about sports.
What do you know about sports?
I don't know. I was already called out today once.
Can I tell you, okay, he stormed in the front door asking about somebody online, Bob, and who is this guy? You got to calm down, okay? Social media people like to spout, and the first thing that they do is they talk about what they've done in life. Because they have to have bona fides, they have to have credentials. And while Bob Raymond has credentials, he is a sports journalist, he already showed that he lost the context. So can you tell the nice people what we were talking about at the moment?
All right.
At that moment?
This is sports, so this is what we do. We get a little emotional. We talk about things we enjoy, and we have perspectives, and we like to push those perspectives.
I don't think that Bob's mother appreciated all the things that you...
No, I was kind to Bob. Bob was kind to me, too. I think Bob and I have got it fixed. So, no, there's no hard feelings to Bob.
I'm just trying to stir the shit. I really am.
It's not like, all right, basically this was the content. And again, this was a Facebook thing, which I'm rarely on. This is the reason why I'm so anti-social media, because I get wrapped up in these things and then I just go a different direction. So basically, it was in reference to Trevor Lawrence, in reference to how, he's kind of not taking a lot of slack in the media. He's not, getting the blame placed on him and such. Obviously, it relates, in my opinion, to his poor play. We wouldn't have these conversations if the kid was playing or if he was at least putting up numbers and Jacksonville was winning. But we all knew that was not going to be the case. Jacksonville's terrible. Their team is terrible. That's why they were in a position to take him number one, because they are terrible. So just because you get the best quarterback in football, it doesn't automatically make you not even a contender, but just a good football team. They have a lot of holes that they need to fill. So anyway, the point was, so I went back and said basically that. I put up some stats about how their offensive line and their rankings and the receiving core, and they just don't have a lot of talent. And then it came back a little bit more personal, and then I went back a little more personal, and then we both realized that it's kind of silly.
What are you, a douchebag?
And then we're just talking sports. So the bottom line here is that, we all stand behind at least what we perceive as the truth, at least in our own eyes. For as much as we know, I know at least I rely on others for information. All I do is take it and then I disseminate that information based on my opinions and such.
In public?
Yeah, and wherever, here in public, on once in a while Facebook. But anyway, that's the point of it, is that it's, we look at things and we base our ideas based on what we see and what we read, and then we have our opinions, and then sometimes those opinions differ, and that's okay. So it makes this fun. This is sports. It's not a science. There's so many variables that come into play that things change.
It's not like politics where everybody has an opinion.
No, sports is more fun.
Their opinion taints what it is that they say, even though their opinion may run contrary to physical facts.
Yeah, sports is not meant to be political. I don't want to even go into that whole thing, but
it's even more emotional than politics, because politics tends to involve numbers, and it tends to involve circumstances that are very personal to large amounts of people. Okay, less so in sports, because the crowds that are polarized with individual teams are much smaller than your, two major parties and your several minor parties. Everybody's got a philosophy when it comes to those parties.
Sure.
But every team is a different philosophy. I love so-and-so, and and then within the team, you will have a divergent point of view. I hate the coach, I hate the players, I hate the quarterback, I hate this, I love this, I love this, I love this, I love that.
Yeah. Well, you're mentioning hate and love. Hate and love are very strong emotions, and that's what sports does.
Right.
Sports drives our emotions.
Yeah.
When you look at the word fanatic, you take the first three letters of that, it's fan.
Yeah.
And that's what we are. We're fanatics about our sports. Certainly football is a very physical sport. It's an ego sport, if you could say. So the emotions run high. higher. You're more vested, and so there's more visceral to be thrown around.
Right. Well,
especially
I'm
when you
sure
feel
we
like
can
you
all-
get your balls stepped on.
Right. Oh,
But,
my.
yeah. Anyway,
But I'm sure we can all agree that we hate the Jets. Today is Jet Day for Dolphin fans out there. It's Jet Day. That's right. We've had our troubles this year, but we're turning it
think I
around.
picked up
And we're
the
going to turn it
defense.
around, stomping on the bones of the New York Jets, the
I
New
hope
York
so.
Football Jets.
I picked up their defense in one of my leagues.
Why?
Maybe two.
Why?
Who?
The Jets?
No, the Dolphins defense.
Oh, the Dolphins defense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's one thing that we've seen here in the last 3 or 4 weeks is really a turnaround of the philosophy, a turnaround of the level of play.
Right.
A little more coordinated now.
Oh, and as a
I wonder
side
why that
note,
is.
since I'm going to throw this in here, you're mentioning that I picked up the Dolphins defense today, who
Right.
in nobody in their right mind would probably, one, have drafted, or two, would play them. Okay, that's strictly one of those
Other than
teams
me.
that we mentioned that's a streaming defense. Okay.
Right.
Hence the importance or lack thereof of defenses in fantasy football. Like, what are we doing here? All right, you know what? I'm commissioner next year in our league.
Here it comes.
Yeah, no effing kickers, no defenses.
No kickers or defenses.
Done. We're gonna revamp fantasy
Blasphemy.
football. Yeah, watch. Okay, next.
Blasphemy.
Side note. So anyway, we got some football games.
Did
today.
you actually have did you have a game or a championship that you lost because a kicker scored 14 points?
No, I have a
Or that a
championship that I
defense
lost.
scored 20
I
or
told
something
you the
like that?
story about Garrett Hartley and the Saints about 7 years ago against
Right.
6 years ago against Joe.
Right.
Yeah, I had a kicker cost me a championship. That kicker who missed 2 field goals,
Stupid Garrett
2 extra
Hartley.
points, had a block. The Saints were down 30 the entire game, never got closer, and they're still kicking field goals and missing.
Yeah, I remember you were like me with
That dude got fired the next day, by the way.
Right.
He never kicked again in the NFL.
Right.
My kicker got fired and retired that next day.
Right.
After I got knocked out of the playoffs.
Right.
Thank you, Garrett Hartley, if you're listening.
Yeah, well, and you were
SOB.
you
Let me
were-
talk to him on Facebook.
well, that's like me and Cody Parkey. See, I still spit when I say his name.
Cody Parkey.
Cody
See,
Parkey.
we should not have these emotions towards kickers. They're indifferent.
Kicker.
They even suck in today's NFL. Today's NFL, half the times you watch TV, you watch a kicker.
Oh.
If you want that extra point, if you need that extra point for the cover or for
Oh
the
my
hook,
God.
you're not going to get it. Don't worry.
Oh my God.
Extra points blocked. I mean, it's like, what are we doing here? Although you mentioned prior to the show, which kicker was it? 26 in a row under 50 yards now? The Patriots kicker.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the kid from Atlanta, that Koo, he's been
is it
unbelievable.
Graham Gano? I think it's Graham Gano.
Is it Graham Gano?
I think so.
Ex-Carolina, ex-everything kicker?
Yeah. Well, I can say this. Okay, one thing that has been a benchmark, oddly enough, of Belichick's success is that he has a very good, very accurate, very strong kicker. His place kickers, look throughout his history. Okay, his place kickers have been very, very strong.
I think one of them won a Super Bowl for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty
Outright.
important. Yeah.
Outright.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say that he probably has some of the best place kicking talent in the history of the NFL that have won more big games. Okay, I mean, it's just not something that he takes for granted. So he's had Steven Gostkowski. He's had who was the guy that went to the
Vinatieri.
Colts? Vinatieri. Vinatieri is going to be a Hall of Fame kicker.
Oh, yeah. Well,
for
so
crying
is
out
Gostkowski.
loud.
They both would be.
Okay.
But how about this? He even rented a snowplow for his kicker one day.
No,
You know,
he
so
did.
can get
No,
out
he
there.
did. He wasn't the snowplow guy.
Oh, I thought he was.
That wasn't the snowplow game.
Wasn't the Patriots? Did they kick
It was the Patriots,
Okay.
but it wasn't Belichick.
Who was coaching at that time? Was that Parcells?
It was no, it was before Parcells. It was I want to say. Wow, you're gonna make me think about this. I'll get back to you. So anyway,
Wasn't Carroll? Was he coaching the Patriots? That
no, it wasn't.
Was
It wasn't
after?
Pete Carroll. No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail the whole show. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you did. That's it.
I got excited.
Thanks for watching,
Done.
everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Yeah. Joe Burrow.
But Joe Burrow, exactly.
Throw some names out
Shut
there.
up. Oh my God!
Let's talk some games. We have games today.
It's been that weird of a morning.
I'm sorry, I came in weird.
You
I came in weird.
Came in stomping
I came
around.
in weird.
I thought you were going to throw your laptop.
I came in
really thought you were
weird.
gonna
I
throw
came
your
in
computer.
weird. But you know what, though? It wasn't just because of that. It's because I'm carrying baggage now. And that was like just the tinder
angry about something
that
else.
started that fire really quickly. So I just, whatever. I'm sorry.
What is it that you're angry about?
I'm over it. I'm over it already.
You're over it.
We have football. Okay, so the beginning of the ending for the Packers starts today.
Oh.
So basically, you got to be on Minnesota in that game. And the line opened at 2.5. The line opened at 2.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Minnesota plus 2.5. It's now at 1. What I've noticed this week, and it's interesting, is on the totals in terms of the opening lines to where they are today. I have 9 of the 11 games that I've seen where the totals have come down. Okay, they started at a number,
Right.
and they've all come down. Some of them as much as 2.5 points. Now, I know we have some weather.
I know there's adjustments due to weather and
I was going to say,
injuries.
but not in all the games, and certainly perhaps some of the injuries as well. But what that tells me is something that we talked about earlier, is that in today's NFL, outside of, and again, you can maybe even replace these top 2 teams, whoever you think they may be. I think the consensus of the top 2 teams in football, maybe they both come from the AFC side, maybe Tennessee, the way they've been playing, maybe Buffalo. Again, you can argue maybe KC if they have another week like they did last week. But outside of the first 2-3 teams, let's say 4 through 25, they're pretty close. I mean, there's not a lot of difference in talent, in production between those 2 teams. And you see it week to week. You see teams like even Tennessee lose to the Jets. You see the Bills lose to the Steelers earlier, in the season first week. So, you can't go into any particular week and say, wow, this team's a 7-point favorite. They're a lock, because there are no more locks.
And
But I like to look.
That's what every commissioner likes is parity.
Parity is good right now in the NFL. But I like to look at the lines, and I just think it was kind of interesting that all those lines came in towards the under, which means that the money is going in towards the under. It means these games are tighter, they're closer. There's less of a one team or another, perhaps, that's going to be dominant. A lot of these lines
And money will always be conservative.
I mean, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. There are some big ones, because there's some bad teams like Houston. God, they're terrible. The Jets. I mean, somehow Miami's favored in a football game. This will be the only game, perhaps, the Dolphins are favored this year, and they're on the road to get that. So, what does that tell you about the Jets? What does that tell you about the Jets? But my point is that basically, this game in particular, I talked about Green Bay and Minnesota. I just think Minnesota matches up well. Green Bay's defense has not been good. Red zone defense, I think they're 26th overall.
Not bad.
Weather's not a factor today. They're indoors.
Not bad.
Minnesota's a little better team at home, and they were healthy. Cook, Thielen, Jefferson, they're in a pretty good spot.
Got the
today.
band back together.
And Green Bay, as good as they've been stat-wise and whatnot, and Aaron's having a great year, I still feel like once that door opens where there's issues, problems, whether it's on the field, in the locker room, wherever, it's just going to be the start of that, that train rolling down where it's going to be kind of yucky for Aaron and the Packers. Again, knowing on the other side that, they're coming to an end. So if the road stays smooth, then the Packers will go as Aaron takes him. But I just think that in terms of if there's problems, and today would be a situation where if they lose in Minnesota divisional game and whatnot, I just think this today is the beginning of where we can look back at the end of the year and go, wow.
That's where the wheels fell off.
This is where it may not fall off, but this is where a couple of those lug nuts come loose, and then
we got a wobbler.
Then you start to feel something. So that's Green Bay, Minnesota. What's your
I
take
think
on
I hurt my neck doing that. What is wrong with me today?
We could talk your Dolphins if you want to. Dolphins may.
May I?
May they get a win? Well, because
may I?
Why else would we talk about the Dolphins and the Jets?
With my 2 little gnomes right here.
Dolphins and Jets.
To me, right, my 3 little, but right there. So I can't. May I talk about the Miami Dolphins?
I'm going to defer to you on Dolphins.
You're going to
Jets.
defer to me to the Miami Dolphins.
Dolphins Jets.
Big news today. The Miami Dolphins. Duke Johnson has been activated to the regular roster. He's been on the practice squad for the last couple of weeks. Duke Johnson, University of Miami,
2002.
Yes,
graduate.
Not 2002. Stop it. It's 2015.
Okay, sorry.
This is his sixth. Believe it or not, it's his 6th
I know.
season.
Where has he been?
He just seems like he's been playing a lot for the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
For the Houston Texans. Well, now
60 year.
he comes home. He is a Florida guy. He is a University of Miami guy. And now he is back down where he enjoyed success in college. He is part of a backfield of, I hate to say it, middling talent. They're middling talent.
At best.
I mean, Gaskins is good.
Something's wrong.
Ahmed, I think you know what's really funny? I think Savon Ahmed is a guy who, I kill you. He's a guy that they really should, if the season gets out of hand, they should give him a lot more reps. They got to see what they have with this kid, because if they don't find out what they have with this kid, they're going to waste a high draft choice on a running back, or they're going to waste money going after a free agent running back, because this is the kind of offense that needs a primary back. Not necessarily a 30-touch-a-game guy, but they need a primary back. They need a 20-plus touch game back.
I think I heard you say
the game.
If the season gets out of hand. When was it in hand for the Dolphins?
They're about one loss away from it.
I'm listening. I'm going. All your points were great. I'm like, but then I started with
hey. 10-7 is mathematically possible still.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. If they add 3 more games to the season, you got to
shut up. You.
Come on. If it's out of hand.
Listen, just shut up. I haven't been a homer all year. Why? Because they've been falling apart. Okay?
I'm losing
the last
faith.
3 games, it looks like the defense is finally activated.
No, they've played well.
And
they've played well.
That's what this team is predicated on. So
they looked like they looked last year defensively in the last few games.
Except a month late.
Right. Well, I mean, again, for the last couple of games, they've what, did something just click?
They lost 3 games by last-second field goals.
I know they did.
Dumb. And that's not to say that they're going to be aren't going to be major changes, but just the talent level of this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, you have to do better than what we have done. Period. That's all.
I think the London loss was tough.
Oh my God! What do you mean? It affected me.
That was hard.
I was mad. I haven't been mad about a loss for the Miami Dolphins for more than an hour. I'll harumph about it. I'll commiserate with my mother and my brother because they're both Miami Dolphin fans. And I'll even say a little something on the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk on Facebook, Gonzo Radio Sports Desk group. I may even say something there. But I get over it. I was mad into the next day about that because it just looked like a collapse.
Yeah.
It looked like they gave up.
Something was
and
awry.
That speaks to the coaching.
But something was already going on.
The players, but the coaching primarily.
But again, looking back, I think to that point, something was happening in a negative way. There was a lot of issues with the quarterback position and maybe some other disconnect stuff we didn't know about. But the last couple of weeks, the defense has played better. If they continue to do that and Tua can get a little momentum, then maybe we can get a better understanding of who he is under center and with an offense that's at least respectable.
Right.
That you can at least put a couple of games together, give him an opportunity to get some momentum, like I said, so that you can look at a full body of work and say, okay, maybe this is who he is.
Right.
As opposed to who he's been and all the other excuses have been made and the injuries and whatnot. Maybe the Dolphins will right the ship. And they're in a great spot because the Jets are terrible.
I love how everybody's ready to give up on Tua Tagovailoa. I love it. It's just like, we're done.
Yeah.
We're going to get another quarterback. Listen. The kid has been a winner at every level, okay? At every level, okay? Sandlot, high school, college, family barbecues, okay? Which, lest we forget, his little brother is also a quarterback. The kid has been a winner at all levels of football, okay? All levels. If you think he wasn't a good leader that you would hear, I mean, especially in today's NFL where there's always at least one malcontent on every team that's willing to talk a little shit about somebody, especially a quarterback. Would we hear from former players that played with him last year about how he's a weak leader? No, he's a very strong leader. He's a guy who is organized. He's a guy who went through the Alabama system, which is now geared towards grooming professional-style quarterbacks. Okay,
Let's not go that far yet.
they're geared towards doing that.
Let's not go that far yet.
Saban, listen,
Mac Jones
Saban
is the
figured
first
it out.
one to have any semblance of success, and he's a rookie still, and he's got a lot of bumps ahead of him. So we're not
So
ready
you're
yet.
just going to discount Jalen Hurts?
No, but they've like I've argued this fact about everything in sports is you don't get there until you arrive, and these kids are still
listen,
kids.
I know there's AJ McCarron still. Okay,
There's kids.
I know, but the focus at Alabama. Okay, has shifted a little bit.
Okay.
From the first listen.
No, Saban's adjusted. He's had to.
Saban's first 4 or 5 years
Yes,
there.
yes.
He was like, "We're
Yeah.
going to run it down your throat, and
Yes.
we're going to defend you to death. We're going to beat you 34-0."
But here's the thing: the reason why it's changed is because today's NFL, the receivers are so important. The
Right.
athletes are being they're the spotlight.
Right.
He needs to get these kids in his program too.
Right. He what he thought was I know what his philosophy is. Quarterbacks are too hard to control, and they affect too much. So if you have a quarterback that just stays and plays within the system, doesn't freelance, doesn't add his personality, his talent to it, and just stays and plays within the system, then you are going to crush people because college football ain't that hard.
Well,
you know,
part of it is because they have every other position at an
Right.
NFL level.
Right.
So they didn't need to have the quarterback play.
So-
but here's the difference. The play across of college football, because there's a lot more of these sorts of athletes that can spread the field.
Oh, yeah.
They take advantage of that.
You can't avoid
defense.
them anymore.
Well, the thing is, it puts pressure on the individual as
Right.
opposed to the team.
Right.
Now you're not so much because they didn't. Perhaps, the strength of Alabama and the SEC and those schools have been their athletic ability, has been able to get guys to
yeah.
the ball. But
Look at Bryce Young now. Look at yesterday he dropped 5 touchdown passes.
No, what I'm saying
six,
is,
excuse me, 6
the
touchdown
NFL
passes.
is littered with SEC athletes on the defensive and the offensive.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the point
it's
is
NFL
that
junior.
Nick had to adjust and look at that and say, well, listen, I got to get these guys on my team too. I have to
Sure.
be able to compete at the same level.
Sure.
And he did that. So listen, back to the Alabama quarterbacks. It hasn't happened to this point, okay, in terms of saying, oh, Alabama's a quarterback school. It's not yet. There's a couple of
Getting
kids that
there.
have come out, but that's
Getting
fine.
there.
Then let it get there first. They're on their way.
I mean, AJ McCarron has done okay.
Listen, Mac Jones
Okay.
right now is ahead of the pack, but only because of, I think, situation, coaching, offensive line, and other things. Great defense. He's with the Patriots. He's with one of the best organizations in
Lest
football.
we forget that Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, and Mac Jones were all on the same Alabama team 4 years ago.
Right?
4 years ago.
Right.
Okay, you had 2 19-year-olds and a 20-year-old.
Right.
And they were in succession. They were ass kickers. And now you have Bryce Young, who's going bananas. And he just keeps getting better every game by game. This kid keeps improving. Right. So what you may see is not only from, let's say, the A.J. McCarron years, which were about 6 or 7 years ago, okay, where he was a good game manager and he didn't make mistakes. And it has earned him a decent NFL career. He has been a sought-after backup everywhere he's got. If he gets cut, where's he with the Texans now? If he gets cut by the Texans, I can guarantee you he's going to work as a backup quarterback or a quarterback in any sort of team's mix for the next 10 years. He's going to have a 15-year career in the NFL. Okay, and good on him. He's a high-quality individual. But now you're starting to get players. And, I mean, what you're seeing now is these players, when you go to a big-name program like Alabama, you were a winner in high school. You were a winner in grade school.
Well, first of all, to get to Alabama, you're the best of the best anyway.
Exactly.
That's how he's able to recruit that
Exactly.
at every position. I think that takes away from the lead position.
Yeah.
Because you have the best guy catching the football, the best guy running the routes, the best blockers protecting you to be able to take time and develop and read the systems and the defenses.
So yesterday's game was crazy.
But what I'm saying is that, again, environment in college football is as important as it is in the pros because you've got these kids that are able to develop under every potential advantage.
Yeah.
And you don't have that with a lot of other schools. So I think that's been part of the hindrance to this point because they haven't had to develop a quarterback that way. Excuse me. But now, and in the last several years, because the game is changing, the NFL is clearly changing. It's spread them. It's move the ball down the field. Again, it's more athletic style football.
And you have to have a multi-talented quarterback.
You got to have a guy that can run the ball as well. RPO is a big part of today's game.
Yeah, not just move around.
Yeah, it's be able to read and decide, not
Take
just
off running.
There's a lot of things going on there. So again, okay, these quarterbacks have been better than previous.
Yeah.
They still have a long way to go. I would not consider Alabama a quarterback school, but I do like these kids coming out today.
They are good,
there. And they're very talented, and they've got the best advantages at their disposal from the moment they walk on that campus.
Well,
so
I would say that Tagovailoa and Hurts are the beginnings of a run. I think that they are going to have a run of elite quarterbacks. I think that when Bryce Young hits the NFL, he is going, because he is the kid with the current NFL skill set. Okay, a wider array of skills. He is a better and more accurate Jalen Hurts. Hurts is a fantastic quarterback from an accuracy. I give him Michael Vick status. Okay, maybe not as strong of a runner, but still a capable runner. Okay, still not as accurate, but very accurate enough. He's got Michael Vick status. I'll give him that. I'll put him on that level, Michael Vick. But you are going to see Bryce Young come into the NFL and destroy it. And I think it's going to be out the box. I think he's going to he catches on with the right team. If somebody screws up, if some quarterback-hungry team screws up and lets him get out of the first round and they don't take him, even if you've got an established starter, put him on the bench, Atlanta Falcons looking at you, you're going to make a mistake because this kid's going to be a superstar.
So he's not a first-round pick?
I would say he's a mid-first-rounder because there's so many other.
So you're anointing a guy at that level, at the Michael Vick level and every other level, and he won't get taken in the first 20 picks? So it's the other teams aren't
maybe
seeing
15?
This. So the other teams aren't seeing
15,
this.
15,
All right.
16. It depends on the team in that position.
Well, most of the teams that will be in the position in the earlier rounds, they stink because they don't have a quarterback. There's only 12 teams in the NFL right now that have their quarterbacks, in my opinion.
Well,
so there's 18 other teams that need quarterbacks. 19 other teams that need 20.
I just hope he doesn't end up in Detroit.
No, they're a bad
The only thing that can fix the Detroit Lions is a veteran quarterback who can alter the landscape of the offense.
Maybe a move to Lansing instead of where they are now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just put it on wheels. Put the dome on wheels and get it out of there.
Because let me tell you, everybody was wringing their hands when the Dolphins passed on Penny Sewell. Everybody was ringing, we need an offensive lineman. Sewell has been good. He hasn't been impact. Sewell hasn't been the left tackle of the future. He's playing right guard right now.
Right.
Okay. So, sure, he might be a transcendent right guard. And he's playing very well at right guard. But when everybody was wringing their hands and the Detroit Lions took Penny Sewell to build on an offensive line.
What they needed to do.
What they need, yeah. He's still not the impact player that everybody thought he was going to be.
Right.
Just ask Jared Goff, who has so many small injuries. He just can't get up in the morning now.
I know, that's a shame.
It is a shame.
He gets hit a lot. He's been hit a lot.
He gets
too.
banged around. Yeah. So back to the Dolphins.
Yes.
The defense has their feet underneath them now. They've gotten their collective doo-doo together. The offense, still a work in progress. That offensive line. You know, a lot of people are citing, there's individual improvement. Let's remember they operate as a unit. Okay, the coaching staff, I think that they're just the same. They're the same that they were before.
This year they are.
Yeah.
Next year could be different.
Yeah, they're really going to have to finish really, really strong because just how bad the start was. You know, especially the first 5-6 games, how bad that start was. They're going to have to finish so strong that statistically, the offense, you're going to have to start seeing the offense creep into the 20s, creep past the 20 mark.
Here's what I
don't
wonder.
know if it's going to do that. And that's only mediocrity.
Here's what I wonder is the information, how the Dolphins get their information. Is it more through, let's see, management? Are they the ones calling the shots? Are the decisions being placed upon now coaches? And are they the one now driving the ship? Because I want to see now, since clearly you said that they have their feet under them, they're playing better. Today they should get a win, whatever the case. If they do show that improvement, who gets the credit for that improvement? Is it the coaching staff? Is it adjustments that have been made? Is it a philosophy change? Is it now we have a quarterback? Is it? I mean, where do we go? What do we say, or how do we defend the first half and go, wow, who was calling the shots then, as opposed to who's calling the shots now?
Yeah.
But what changed? What was there a catalyst? Did a light go on, or was there a fundamental change in philosophy? Whether it's on the field, off the field, a little bit of both, however that lined up, but to get them to where they are now, where they're playing good football.
Well,
same guys, same coaches. Okay, what happened? And then build on that.
One thing that I've seen about the Miami Dolphin organization is that they have put two people out front, and that would be Chris Greer, general manager, and head coach Brian Flores. They've put them out front. Those are the guys. As much as we hem and haw about the 2 or 3-headed monster that is the offensive coordinators for the Miami Dolphins, and very few people know who they are, Charlie Fry being being the quarterback coach and play caller, and Studdard and Godsey, the
he would be like the sous chef, in other words, and then you have the head chef, and then, that's like
he's the expediter.
Yeah,
he's the expediter.
It's quite an interesting dynamic.
It's and that seems to be a bit chaotic there. Okay, but meanwhile on the defensive side of the ball, you have Josh Boyer, who's a fantastic defensive coordinator in the Brian Flores vein, in the Matthew Patricia vein. Okay, that type of
head on backwards, Matthew Patricia,
amoeba type of an offense where you don't know who's coming from where. Okay, so what you're seeing is their strengths are playing out after some chaos early on. And let's face facts: the early schedule was not a cakewalk, but losing to teams like Atlanta, Jacksonville,
bad. I just want to know.
Bad look.
Lamar Jackson is out today officially against the Bears.
I got to go move Rashad Bateman.
Illness
on
problem.
My DFS. So anyway, to wrap up the Dolphins so we can go get to DFS.
Yes, just real quickly about them. Again, I just want to know if the success does happen, if it's an on-field change or if it's a front office change, and what that percentage is, and so that they can say, okay, this is our philosophy now. This is what we're going to do now. This is what we're going to do next year. This is our plan. Mm-hmm. And because, again, the personnel hasn't changed. It may.
Right.
But to this point, it hasn't. So I'm just curious to see.
There's a big five when it comes to draft choices that everybody talks about with the Dolphins, and that's the 5 first-round draft choices that they've had over the last 2 years. Okay. Tua Tagovailoa, Austin Jackson, Noah Igbinoghene. Yeah, I've learned to say those 2 names, by the way, and I'm very proud of myself as a broadcaster.
You spit on me, though, but I got to
get a little on you. And then the Jalens.
Right.
Okay, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Phillips.
Right.
Okay. The jury is still out on 4 of the 5. Okay. We was starting with number 5 of 5. We all think and we all know.
Do you have Waddle in?
Waddle is the only guy that there are no doubts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
there's no doubts.
I'm just making sure, because that's who I would have in too.
At number 5, you have Justin Jackson. Even more so than Noah Igbinoghene, because Noah Igbinoghene is, because of his speed and because of his various skill set, he's more useful than a left tackle that had to be moved to left guard and is still not grading out over high 50s. That's a bad grade for an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So I would think he would be more of a straight up bust. Igbinoghene, because he can be used in other areas. He can be used as a third DB. He can be used as a punt returner. He can be used as a specialist. You can't teach speed.
Right.
And they have tried to find places to use him to cover him up.
Right.
He is a work in progress, but he's still number 4. I think that Jalen Phillips, because of his talent level, is number 3 in that order of condescending, because of his injury history. He started off with the injury history. And then Tua Tagovailoa, only by virtue of the fact that there's still a little bit of doubt as to how high his ceiling can be.
Careful a
how
little
he
bit.
develops. Yeah,
There's a lot of bit of doubt.
He has more room for development.
Yeah, there's a lot of bit of doubt.
But Jalen Waddle has been everything advertised. They haven't used him right. They haven't used him right.
Again, it's not been a positive offensive script at any point for the Dolphins this year.
And you blame that on the coaching, the play calling.
He's been the bright light.
Sucks.
He's been the bright light of the offense.
Right.
So,
you know,
he had that one game, like 11 catches, 12 catches for whatever it was.
Now,
they're mostly volume. He's a volume guy now, but partly because he doesn't have time to throw the ball down the field.
Right.
Or the inability to do so.
Right.
So, but that's not on Waddle.
He's a faster Jarvis Landry, which means he's a deeper threat than Jarvis Landry was.
Yeah. God, you always picked up one of the best guys in football. Now, Jarvis Landry is a leader, locker room guy, just a go-getter. It sucks the Dolphins let him go, too.
Yeah, I know. It was dumb. It was dumb.
So
one of the
bad.
dumbest moves of the past 20 years, that's for sure.
So bad.
But anyway, those five
so bad
have been kind of indicative of how the team has gone in this rebuild, this year 3 of the rebuild. They've been very indicative of how things have gone. The same can be said for Christian Wilkins, who was the first-round draft choice back when it was Greer's first-round draft choice under this regime. Wilkins has been good. Just good. Not great. Not fantastic. Good. Now, second round success, they've had a lot of it. I'd have to say that Liam Eichenberg is the only second rounder that they've picked over the last 3 seasons that hasn't panned out. But they've had a lot of great Raekwon Davis.
Maybe it's just easier to hit on those guys because the expectations are lower.
Yes.
You know, because he only has to, because you hear stuff like, well, this guy's got to return third round value.
Right.
What the hell is third round value?
Right.
Explain that to me. Right?
They grade out players at round by round.
I understand.
Okay. Well, first they grade out. Well, first of all, let me get my beautifulness on the camera. They grade out first rounders, usually in thirds. The top 10, the middle 10, and then the bottom 12.
The back end of the first round, they call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a lot is expected of 20 through 32. Not a lot. Not a lot is expected. Or 21 through 32. Not a lot is expected. Those are speculative players. Players that could end up being elite, or they could end up being serviceable at the very least, or if they turn out to be a basket case, they're a bust. There's only 3 categories there for them anyway. Mid-round, you have to have guys that are diamonds in the rough. They're going to be borderline Pro Bowl players, okay, borderline superstars, stars. And then in your top 10, those are supposed to be franchise players. Those are supposed to be foundation players. Those are supposed to be players that get multiple Pro Bowls. Those would be players that have the highest opportunity or the best opportunity, the best chance, best odds of being an all-pro player. Those are supposed to be the elite. Now, the numbers skew back and forth across the first round, but you're not going to see the same output from the bottom of the first round to the top of the first round. Okay?
It's rare. You could get it. That's a home run, but it doesn't happen. I mean, listen, I get it. I was poking fun at the fact that.
But what the Dolphins have done is they've made better use of the second round players than they have of the first round players, which is kind of shocking.
I want to learn the sabermetric trail for that, for trying to find out what round values are and how they're established. That'd be kind of cool.
There's a lot of round values. I mean, and listen, you get into second rounders. Pretty much all second rounders are speculative players. They have the talent. The question is, can you get the talent out of them? Third rounders, more of a surprise. Fourth rounders, more of a surprise. And as you go further into the draft, the lower the expectations are for the players. So if you end up with a starting defensive end that you drafted in the 6th round, you got great value for that. And he can play. You know, he's a 6+ sack guy. He's a 40+ tackle guy. Got 10 tackles for loss. It's a 6-rounder? You ask any GM, they'll take that all day.
Yeah, it's a big contribution.
All day long, 6, 7 rounders, you can get a guy like that. You know, you can get in the 5th round, you can get a right tackle that starts every game for you and grades out in the mid to high 60s.
Yeah, it's huge.
All day, every day.
Huge.
You know, the grading structure, you know, which, so what you're seeing is Chris Greer hits more on his second rounders than he does on his first rounders. And that's not a recipe for success.
Well, flatten his tires on the way to the draft.
I guess.
Get him there late.
Yeah, well,
Sorry, Chris.
something barring a miraculous 10-7 finish and sneaking into the playoffs, there's going to be changes.
Yeah.
There's no doubt there's going to be
Well,
changes.
Dolphins are not going to end up 10-7. So.
Even I don't think so, but it can't have, hey, what you're saying, there's a chance. So that's that. On to fantasy football. You want to start with leagues or the DFS first?
I don't care. I'm dominating everything, so it doesn't really matter.
Sorry. Excuse me. I didn't know you're not here. Let me give you the floor.
No, I mean, you're talking about daily. You're talking about season long. Lamar Jackson's sitting today. That's interesting. If you have anything Baltimore related, you're now not playing them. They announced the starter.
I have to move Rashad Bateman.
Tyler Huntley will be starting today. First start, career NFL. Yeah, good luck.
Tyler.
That's not going to go well. Now they're playing a team. Chicago's got a pretty good defense. That over/under is at 44. It's gone down.
Ugly.
That's going to go down even more. What do you think he's responsible for the line? You think he's worth 3 points on that line?
Ooh, and you know what? You know what's really funny? Sorry, I was standing up and adjusting myself.
It's okay.
This COVID-19 thing, these players are now starting to relax a little bit. Now we're starting to see more violations. These players aren't recognizing the fact that they need to show deference to said illness. And now you're starting to see players relax a little bit. You're starting to see players that are unvaccinated starting to miss games.
Yeah, well, they're not saying
Starting
what
to miss,
his particular illness is. They're just saying undisclosed.
No.
Whatever.
It's from his COVID test today.
Oh.
Today was his last day to be eligible to play today. He had to submit 2 negative tests.
Who, Lamar?
Yeah.
They just said it was illness. Here it is, Lamar, non-COVID illness. Will not play
Non?
at Bears. Non-COVID illness.
Oh.
Will not play at Bears today.
Oh, I stand corrected.
Yeah,
Oh my
non-COVID.
goodness.
No, he has like a stomach infection. Somebody put a little something in his breakfast.
He's got agita.
He's got a little something going on there. So
Eat a couple of Tums and suck it up
All
and
right.
walk it off.
let's talk about, before we go to DFS real quick, Cam Newton, the big hire or the big bring back.
Yay.
Whatever. Okay, we're
I'm a
done.
fan. You know I'm a fan.
I
Shut
know.
up.
But we're done talking about Cam. So on to
I
DFS.
swear I will show up wearing a bolero hat and a scarf.
We basically covered everything we needed to
with
just then.
big sparkly heart sunglasses. I will dress like Elton John.
You
okay,
should.
you better
should.
watch.
You should leave on. So, whatever. It's Cam Newton. It's a guy that's thrown 7 touchdown passes in the last 4 years combined. Granted, I get Carolina was in such a desperate place that they needed a quarterback. Darnold clearly has not been the answer. He struggled this year. He's been hurt. They're in trouble. Carolina is a bad football team. They're playing pretty good defense, and at least they have McCaffrey back, so that's going to help them a little bit. If you notice, I'm kind of peering off screen. I am worried about what's coming back, but is this supposed to be a Cam Newton reference somehow?
Nothing for you to worry about.
Anyway, Cam Newton's back today. So DFS, let's talk about something important instead of Cam Newton. DFS today, we talked about this before the show, quarterbacks today. There's been some pretty crappy quarterback play this year, even from some of your good guys. I mean, Dak at one point has laid an egg once or twice. Obviously, we've talked about Mahomes' struggles at time this year. He's looked pretty pedestrian. But I'm on a guy who I have been touting since the beginning of his career and is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league right now, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. Love him today. Love him in the Raiders. Their red zone defense is terrible. 3rd worst in the NFL. I think that's another team that we may find we could start to maybe pick on. They've been just faced with so much adversity this year. Obviously, you know what happened with Gruden, Ruggs, the tragedy with that. I don't know. It's just as good as Carr has been, and I love Derek Carr. I just think that team, again, when they face adversity of any kind, they're just going to have a hard time. So I'm all over the Bengals today. I think the Bengals go in there and win today. So I'm on Joe Burrow today. And you know I like to have a marriage with my receivers and my quarterbacks when I'm doing fantasy. So I got T. Higgins today. I think it's his turn today. So my pick
I think
to
T.
click.
Higgins is pretty credible.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That was a sneeze.
well, okay. Can the press conference continue?
Go get him, Cam.
Okay.
Yeah, go get him.
What? Just because I'm a fashion plate? Don't hate the plate.
No, I hate your completion percentage.
My completion percentage.
That's what I hate.
I win ball games.
Yeah, I hate the fact that
I win ball games.
That you're the only quarterback in the league that has more interceptions than touchdowns last year. Even the rookies. That's what I hate. I hate the fact that.
But last year was last year.
All right. Well,
that was a 1-year aberration.
I hate the fact that
wait. My scarf is on backwards. I have to have the knot up front.
you signed a potential $10 million
this is
contract
Italian style, by the way.
for a half a year's work for a team that has no aspirations to go anywhere. So
Are you familiar with Italian style? You
Yes,
got to have the
slightly.
Got to have the knot on the side of the neck. Hang on, let me make sure that it's plenty visible. Everybody can see the knot on the side of the neck. That's the Tuscany style. See, I wear my hat like this because that's more stylish.
it looks
and
good. You should carry that look with you all the time. Actually.
I do.
All right, let's talk some defense.
Just because I'm fashion forward.
God, I've talked about this too, about my inability to pick a freaking tight end in daily. Can you help me with this today? You know what my tight end is for today?
You're better at kickers.
And fortunately, they don't have those. And that's not nice. Don't talk about kickers. I got Dan Arnold today, okay? The guy has probably one of the highest floors.
Pick a first name.
Really. I think he's had 7 or 8 targets each of the last 3 weeks. He's a guy that you can sort of pencil in for like the 5 catches, 60 yards guy. He hasn't gotten the end zone the last 3 weeks. So I'm hoping today that Mr. Dan, first name, last name Arnold, can get me 5 for 60.
Can't get this off. Hang on.
And then get in the end zone for me. Can I get me a Dan Arnold touchdown today? Somebody, please hear me. Trevor Lawrence, can you get me one touchdown to Dan
Help
Arnold
a guy
today?
out.
So he's my tight end for today.
He's with Jacksonville, that's why. You love Jacksonville.
I don't love Jacksonville, but I do have.
You love Trevor Lawrence.
I have a slight
You were
something.
ready to go. You were ready to go to war for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I don't know about war, but I was definitely not.
That was your
taking
boy.
shots.
It's because he got pretty long hair. That's why.
Man, I talked about that Green Bay game today and how I like the Vikings. That doesn't mean I don't like Devontae Adams today because he's my one pay-up guy in terms of the receivers. I think he has one of those games because he's really kind of chewed up on the Vikings in his career. And I think I saw a stat earlier today. The last 2 games, he's got like 23 receptions for like 6,400 yards and 18 touchdowns. So he's just been crushing them. So let's hope he gets half that today.
Oh, well, I'm down with the green, so sure.
That looks pretty good on you, actually. I think green could be it brings out your eyes. It really does.
What are they?
So season long, sure, we can talk about that dominance again. This is interesting. In our work league, okay, it's a 10-team league. There are 7 teams that are 5-5. Now, if that doesn't talk about parity, what we talked about in the NFL this year, the Any Given Sunday.
Sounds even.
5-5. 7 of the 10 teams are 5-5. You got one team that's got 7 wins. The team's got 6 wins. One team has 3 wins. That's the balance.
That would be me.
You have the 7 or the 6?
There's 6.
You got the 6. I'm one of the 5s. But I like to go.
I blame you because I would have 7, but it's all your fault.
Yeah. I like to, which I may incorporate this next year in my league that I run, is.
Wait. I forgot to give you this last week.
Oh, yeah. Got you for both leagues.
Beat me on both friggin' leagues.
Points. I think points are a better evaluation of a team's success. Because as you know, in head-to-head leagues.
Because when you get more than the other guy, you tend to win.
It's a pretty good number. But it doesn't happen all the time. Once in a while, you got the guy that's got second in the league in points and doesn't get in the playoffs. I'll fix that next year. But I think I'm in 2 of the leagues, I'm first in standings, first in points. And in our league at work, I think I'm 3rd or 4th in total points, even though I'm sitting in one of those teams 5-5. So I feel pretty good about where I am so far this year to this point in all my leagues. I feel like I'm going to make the playoffs, certainly in 2 of them, and hoping the 3rd, more importantly. But remember, if you're watching, Rhino Lube, keeping you up to date on that. This guy over here has got about 110-point lead. So
110.
Which is not a lot. Yes, it is. So, yes, it is. Considering that after the first 4 weeks, I was on the other side of that. I was down about 80. And then after I played him in week 5 and beat him, I don't think he's won since because he's actually one of those 5-5 teams too. And when I played him, he was 5-0. So I believe he's lost 5 straight.
And listen, and I'm declaring it right here, right now for the club league. Okay, nobody ever in perpetuity going forward can ever say that when I pick a Miami Dolphins player or more than one on my team that I'm a homer. Okay, because this cat has five Chicago Bears players on his team, including the defense. 5. Has had them all year. And how's that been working out for him? So nobody give me any crap about being a homer because I draft one Miami Dolphin.
I thought you had 2.
I don't have any right now.
Okay, good.
But the point is...
But you are a homer. It's different than drafting Dolphin. You should still be a homer and not draft your team. You're a homer.
Still, it's ridiculous.
I understand. No, that angle and how they're like,
nobody says it when you draft a Steeler. Nobody calls you a homer.
I know, but I've been smart to not take any of those guys for a long time now. Actually, I do have Deontay Johnson in one of my leagues, but
yeah, on one. I know.
We are digressing from our skill set. You know what it is? Do you know why they act like that?
Why?
People usually make fun of the things they don't understand,
or they're just bitter.
Well, it just when you're at a different level, and they're looking like this, going, "Well, how do I get there?" Then it's cheap shots and it's little stuff like that, just to make you feel bad because there's just no other way. I got laughed at in some of my picks. I was told, "quote." You're better off doing the auto draft since you're going to be away for your draft. By the way, that's the least of my teams is the one where I wasn't even here for the draft.
Let them hate because this is all that they have to see.
Yeah,
this is 2 of the last 3 years.
Yeah, world.
That's
dominance.
all they get.
Take
a look at your monitor. Hate all you want. That's all. That's all you need to know.
Boom. And it's going to stay that way this year. I'm hoping one of us will maintain that trophy because I don't want to have to bring it back.
You're gonna hear all about it when it happens.
Yeah. What if we end up playing each other in the championship round? I think we should work out a thing where we get to each hold the belt for just a month of that. The loser gets to hold it for a month.
And no, they'll just have to rename it the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk Championship. That's what it'll have to do.
That's even better.
Yeah, so there.
All right, well, so did you...
So DFS we've already done?
I threw some lineups out there, some players. Did you put a lineup in today for DFS?
Oh, my goodness. Let me tell you. First of all, highlighted by defenses. Defenses. The Miami Dolphins, the Cleveland Browns.
A lot of ugly in some of these games today, too, yeah.
Ugliness. Let me go get my... You go ahead and talk while I...
I took the Eagles today, defense. Because that's one of the totals that I think was one of the lower totals out there.
Good play.
Yeah, that total came in, and it's been going down too, like most of the game totals. But that total currently sits at something. I'm getting there. You're trying to find the game.
This is a professional show.
Yeah, we're right there. How come I don't have the game on the screen?
Oh, and the 49ers defense.
Oh, against Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Be careful today.
Yeah, no, I'm not being careful. They're going to crush them.
Philly is hosting New Orleans today. That line is now down to 42.5. It opened at 44. I don't know. I just think Philly's defense, even though you could take shots on their defense, I don't think the Saints run that style of offense.
Trevor Siemian, though.
Yeah.
Man.
Is Kamara playing today?
No, Kamara is not playing today. So it's going to be more of a
Ingram,
grind.
Right?
Yes, because Ingram is a banger.
Right.
It's going to be more of a grind it out.
Well, with Philly's front, I don't know. I just think they're going to have a difficult time. And I think Philly's going to create some turnovers today. So I'm on Philly's defense today. I think that game kind of stays close to that total or under. That's a pretty low total. But, okay, back real quick to totals because I want to say this really about your Dolphin game. You know what the total is in that game? I am surprised. And maybe this is an indication of it going over the total. It opened at 45.5. It dropped a point, 44.5.
Right.
Dolphins are favored by 3.5, which means the Dolphins' implied team total. Let me do the math real quick. 26.
Implied.
26, 23,
implied
25,
team total.
22.
Sorry, we didn't mean to get this fancy on you.
They think the Dolphins are going to score themselves 24.5 points today. Okay, so they've got him for 3 touchdowns in that offense today. Now,
and they're actually taking the over on that with the half a point.
It's 24 and, 21 would be 44.5, and that's the 3-point spread. So, yeah, 24.5. That's the Dolphins' implied team total today.
Right.
That's a pretty good number. That's an average number.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, 24.5. That's pretty interesting.
You know listen, what's everybody going to do? Okay, what's everybody going to do if Tua Tagovailoa stays healthy and continues his development in spite of the chaotic play calling, in spite of the subpar offensive line? What if he continues to make the progress of a second-year quarterback? What if he continues to get better? Then what's your conundrum then? What can the haters say then?
Listen, I just don't think that even if you can, okay, let's say you argue the fact that you haven't seen enough yet. And that you can clearly argue, well, it's environment, it's the Dolphins, they don't have any weapons, whatever. Okay,
right.
So you paint a picture that he's been disadvantaged because of his environment. So you want to give him.
He has.
Oh, and I'm not saying he hasn't, but enough people have assessed him at a level. And
he's been a winner at every level.
Okay, but all these guys are winners at every level. He wouldn't have been an Alabama quarterback if he wasn't a winner at every level.
Okay.
Every quarterback in every 4-star, 5-star college, all these recruits that are out there, all winners.
Not Baker Mayfield.
Except for Baker Mayfield. But
or Aaron
they're all
Rodgers.
winners. It's a huge leap of faith, okay, to say that, again, he's here, whatever here is, enough people have you here, but here is so far below, let's say, Brady and Rodgers and Will Wilson and all these other guys. There's a lot that has to happen, okay, between here and here for a guy like Tua. Now, I don't think anybody in their right mind is ever going to consider him, if they had that crystal ball, they'd put him there, okay? Nobody would. Maybe his mother. Okay, that's about it.
His mom.
Maybe his mom, and maybe Jalen Waddle, because they're buddies. But outside of that, you hope he gets to somewhere in the middle, and that's all. Now, you have to decide if you think that's enough. In today's NFL, I say it's not, because every team has that guy who's in the middle, and those teams that have that guy in the middle are not at the top. You look at the top 10 teams right now. We do this every week that you say are going to be in the Super Bowl. Everybody prognosticates these 10 teams. You can point to one common denominator, and that's the fact that they have their guy, okay? And that you can take that guy in any situation, he can win a game for you.
Tua's not there yet.
But
will he ever get there?
That's a big question. And you don't have those questions for a program, for a team. The NFL is very short in terms of their patience now, and these organizations, 2-3 years, they're changing coaches, they're changing players, they're changing personnel. It's now, like
right.
Society. So how long do you wait? Baker Mayfield, year 4. What are they doing now at Baker Mayfield? Have we not seen
Cleveland's
enough?
ready to give up on him.
What, did it take 4 years? That's on the long end of things.
Right.
Tua won't have that leash.
No.
He won't have 4 years to fail.
No, if there's any sort of a regime change with the Miami Dolphins this year, okay, barring outstanding play from him to finish the season, barring outstanding play where they show, oh, well, he's going to be the guy, there will be a change.
Yeah.
There will be a change.
Yeah, but they're going to have to. Teams are going to do that. And that's going to be the recipe, is everybody's going to try and go get their guy. Because you have to look at who your competition is. The Dolphins have to look at that division and go, my God, we got to play Josh Allen twice a year. How are we going to compete with that with Tua? Okay, or, again, Mac Jones now, potentially, the way he's been progressing. 2 years from now, when Mac Jones has taken that next step, the Dolphins are going to be playing him twice a year.
And the three-headed monster that they have in New York, too. I mean...
So you have to nail it at the quarterback position to give yourself the best opportunity to get to the Super Bowl and win. You have to, because that is the recipe. There's no deviation from that. And if you don't have that guy, you have to go get that guy. And if enough guys say you don't have that guy, guess what? You probably don't have that guy. So you have to do something about that. You have to commit to doing the process, working the process to go get that guy. There's no more room in today's NFL to pick a guy and then build an offense for that guy's strengths or whatever it is that they use for coach speak to make a guy seem better than what he really is, or what this false front that this guy's going to lead you to the promised land. It's not going to happen. 10 guys in the NFL currently can do that. The rest of everybody, they're chasing their tails. That's just the way it is. The Dolphins are no different.
Is it only 10?
11 teams, I think I listed at one point, have their quarterbacks right now. 11, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that range. That's it. 2/3 of the league is searching for a quarterback.
The rest of you suck.
And they suck, yeah. So that's what I got.
All right. Well, look at that. Nice and neat.
12:01. Quarterback rant.
That was your quarterback rant. Do you have anything else before we release everybody back into the wild?
I just want to put my apologies out there to the world if I've ever offended anybody in terms of
You are such a liar. You are such a liar.
No.
The screed and the rant that you unleashed as you came through the door today. Okay, and you came. Who the effing but the stupid fuck?
It wasn't that bad.
But it goddamn did. Yeah, I know it wasn't that bad, but still, you were hot. You were hot. You said, and I quote, I let that put me 20 minutes off schedule. Now, listen, I've been there. Okay. And you know me, up until about 6 months ago, I was the most aggro idiot on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter that you could ever see. I wanted rah, 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 letting everybody have it. And it's been that way for probably about the last 5 or 6 years. Okay. Even before Spray Tan Messiah. So when I tell you, as a reformed ranter and raver and debater and arguer on social media, you can't let people push that. You got today.
You know why I get frustrated with stuff like that?
Why?
It's because I know that if whoever the other party is, if you're in a conversation with that person and it's face to face, the conversations go so much differently.
Sure.
And I don't change. Like my personality, I've never gone after anybody on Facebook.
I totally understand that.
I've never even looked for confrontation. I've disagreed with people. I've got angry at people. I obviously call them a douchebag.
You are stupid. You are the stupid douchebag.
I didn't mean that, but whatever. The point is that you get emotional with certain things like that, but still, those conversations are so much more fun. They're more fun. Like if him and I were in the same room together, like how we were getting our voices elevated.
You ignorant slut.
It's more fun to be together. This flips it 180 the other way. It makes it not fun because one, there's no closure, and two, it's like now you have a person that you're not an enemy, but I don't know. But now it's like it's not healthy. It's just none of it's healthy. Social media sucks. It just does. It sucks. It just sucks.
All right. Well, we're gonna use this as a wrapping point
Facebook
right now.
Sucks too.
Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. There's a huge slate of things with three Thanksgiving games this year.
Yeah, Thursday.
Thank God not 4 this time.
Yeah.
Enjoy that. Enjoy your football there.
3's good.
I'm not 100% sure we're back next week. We have stuff to do on next Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, we got.
But
I know. Yeah.
barring that, we'll give it a shot. If not, we'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll be getting closer to the playoffs, both in fantasy and in actual
Should
NFL.
be 4 weeks left, including today.
Exactly. Yeah. So, by all means, gird your loins. Make sure you check out the MAZZ. Say goodbye to the nice people.
See you later.
And what? We're trying to leave. What?
This better be good.
What?
God.
Jesus.
It's Tagliabue versus Tannehill.
Tannehill.
Yeah, Tannehill home in Houston. Against the worst run defense. He's runs touchdowns. Hello.
Okay, now go smoke.
What's your choice?
We're leaving. We're getting out of here. We're saying goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Say goodbye, Russ.
Bye, Russ.
All right.
Bye, Russ. Told me to say goodbye, Russ, too.
Yeah, right. So you can check out the MAZZ on @MLBJoyUs on Instagram. Not that he's a huge poster or anything. Post more.
Aggravated with that.
And I don't like to post on Instagram. And of course, you can search Gonzo Radio on all the platforms, and you'll get this face, sort of. And by all means, follow, subscribe, post, share, piss Matt off. It's always funny.
Call.
Always. And we'll see you guys, if not next week, We will see you the week thereafter. But have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy. Be careful if you're driving out there on the roads. And whatever you do, make sure that as soon as everybody sits down and you say grace and you say everything that you're thankful for on Thanksgiving, you immediately start talking about politics and religion. Forget sports. Bring up politics and religion. Talk to your crazy rich uncle. Talk to your super liberal cousin, and just bring it up. Throw it out there. But make sure that you're wearing like a catcher's mask or something, okay? So have fun for Thanksgiving. Enjoy each other. Don't do that. I'm an idiot. And we'll see you guys on the flip side, all right? And as soon as I get the ender up there, we'll say bye. Goodbye.